destruction. They are X-Men.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Arcade Action. Today we will be checking out Konami's 1992 action game, X-Men. Yep, as I already said, this is an action game by Konami, produced in 1992 for the arcades of the beat-em-up variety, and as you can see, it's the X-Men. Now you may also notice a couple of other odd things, like the format of the video, and that there's this kind of weird little tearing there in the middle. Well, that's because this, depending on which version of the game you found, it was a 6-player arcade cabinet, which was really unusual for the time. In fact, it would remain unusual. Yeah, 6 players. Now, I have the EdBots set up so that we can play this with all 6 players. The thing, though, is I had to make 2 new EdBots because I only had 3. Because most of these games are 4-player. So the 5th and 6th player are not in the best condition. Like, one of them is like one of those grabby claw hands and one of those flippy drinky birds. But I think we'll get the job done. And that kind of screen tearing in the middle was the arcade cabinet screen was actually 2 screens next to each other. I'm not sure if that's exactly right. I think there was this kind of weird mirror thing going on. But we're going to try to play with all 6 characters at once. So let me throw a couple of quarters in.
Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler.
And just to make our lives easier, I'm going to throw some more.
Dazzler. Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler.
Alright, there are all our characters.
In the 21st century, evil mutants led by Magneto aim to destroy the world. Humans can do nothing against the power of the evil mutant. The only hope is X-Men.
Go and save the city.
Alright, so here's our team. 6 X-Men. Now, you may recognize some of these X-Men, you may not recognize some of the other ones. Or just maybe that you don't recognize their costumes. We have, of course, their leader Cyclops. We have the ever-popular Wolverine, hiding in there somewhere. Big Russian Colossus. The fuzzy dude Nightcrawler. The Mistress of Weather Storm. And the rock star Dazzler. About to say Jubilee there, that got a little confused. Now this is your basic beat-em-up. We walk left to right, punching and kicking. But we can also use our mutant powers to smash away the enemies, which you can see me do every once in a while. And there's some mutant power for us to pick up. Now, of course, each mutant has a different mutant power. And some of them, well, don't really have mutant powers that can be used to clear the whole stage, but Konami found a way. Like Wolverine will do this kind of beam with his claws, and Colossus will transform back and forth from steel to flesh, and just kind of damage everybody on screen. Now this was my first introduction to these characters, much like how Captain America and the Avengers arcade cabinet was one of my earliest introductions to those characters. So I didn't know a lot of them, but I had friends who did, so I got introduced to the comics and more of the characters and so forth from them. And then, I don't know how long after this, we would also get introduced to them in the animated series, which would appear on Fox, which is called X-Men the Animated Series, which was actually really darn good. And this game actually was also based on a cartoon series. There was supposed to be an earlier X-Men cartoon series called Pride of the X-Men, which had these characters running around. And I believe it also had Australian Wolverine. Wolverine is supposed to be Canadian accent and everything, but for whatever reason they decided we're going to make Wolverine Australian, and he had an Australian accent and it was goofy. Or maybe that was Spider-Man and his amazing friends had Wolverine with the Australian accent. Well, we're currently taking on our first boss, and this is Pyro. Pyro has a mutant power to manipulate fire. He doesn't make fire, but he can manipulate it. He can make it move the way he wants or take shapes that he wants. I'm trying to remember his name. I think it's like James St. Croft, Peter St. Croft, something like that. And like most bosses at the time, he's starting to flash because he's getting low on health. I don't know what's with all the elephant noises though. Alright, he's down. That's stage 1.
Cyclops,
We'll
Colossus,
fill up our
Wolverine,
lives
Storm,
right here.
Nitro, Dazzler.
Most of these enemies we're fighting are robots, and they're Sentinels. Sentinels are I don't know, it's a group of robots created to deal with the mutant problem. And of course, when you make robots designed to hunt down and murder people, problems happen. They're not all robots. Well, they are all robots, but they're not all Sentinels. I think the robots we were just fighting were called Mandroid armors, and I think those were made by Iron Man. I don't remember. I think they were police or something. I don't really remember. We're making short work of these for the most part. I think Konami at the time really liked those robotic arms. You know, the ones that we see coming out of the walls over here. So I also remember those appearing in other Capcom games. Like the Ninja Turtle games. Oh, there are a lot of enemies on screen. Well, there are 6 of us. Now, in the version I played, I do not remember there being power-ups. I think that was a thing taken out in a lot of the US releases of the game. Oh, careful now. Boss fight number 2.
Nothing moves the blob.
Actually, plenty moves the blob,
Nothing.
including us.
Nothing moves.
So this is the blob. I think his name was Frederick Dukes. Feel free to correct me on that. That just might have been his name in one of the cartoons. The blob here, his mutant power is he can manipulate gravity around his body. He can do that to essentially anchor himself down to the ground and make him unmovable. Unless, of course, you're strong enough to move him and the ground that he's anchored himself to. It's also kind of used to give him super strength, or to proximity, not pronouncing that right, but to sort of give him kind of super strength. Oh. A bunch of our buddies are knocked out. Alright, let me drop some quarters in so we can get them back in the game.
Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler. Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler, X-Men. We have been taken by Magneto. However, we had time to locate their base on Island M. Destroy it.
Okay, so we're going after them at Island M. More robots. Now the whole thing is really simple. We have one attack button, we have a jump button, and we have a button to use our special powers. And now alligator men. I don't know where these alligator men come from. They've probably appeared in the comics somewhere. And I kind of get a Savage Land vibe off of this stage, but I don't think that's where we actually are. And plants. Plants with big goofy looking lips. Like the little shop of horrors over here. You know, the Edbots are doing a good job of mimicking my moves and everything, but this would be a lot easier with real people. Robot bees. More Mega Man enemies here. This is Konami, not Capcom. Look at them, they're just coming out of the foliage and whatnot. That scream that Colossus does there, that brrrr, became a huge joke amongst me and my friends. Even today, when we talk about Colossus, we just can't help but think of that scream. Alright, and we're about to see one of the, I guess, iconic bits of English for this game.
X-Men, welcome to die.
And now, monsters. How's everybody doing? Oh, boss fight time. This is the Wendigo. Now, Wendigo isn't actually a mutant. He's it's a spirit that possesses people and turns them into cannibalistic monsters. Though I don't know the Wendigo all that great. So I don't know who the host of the Wendigo was at this point. I do know the Wendigo is sometimes on the Team Alpha Flight. And Wolverine has a history with it. Wendigo. Alright, there you go.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
I'm being corrected, it was Sasquatch that was on Alpha Flight. Now, I did know Sasquatch was on Alpha Flight, but I was also under the impression Wendigo had spent some time on the team. But I very well could be wrong about that. We're losing X-Men. Let's see how long we can handle the enemies with these two before we start calling in more. Now robot bats? Robot pterodactyls? Get him, Peter. Or Petor. Ouch. Okay, well while it's quiet, let's call in the rest of the team.
Wolver, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler. Cyclops, Colossus, Wolver, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler.
Alright, everybody, try to stay together. Ouch. Poor Colossus. And people throwing him in. It's boss fight time. And that's another big robot. Now, that robot, I am pretty sure, is Nimrod. Nimrod is a kind of sentinel from the future. Come on, guys, get him. Lots of time travel shenanigans in comic books generally, but plenty of it in X-Men too. You see that woman kind of cowering there in that field of energy? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Kitty Pryde. Some of you might know as Shadow Cat. Get the rest of the team back in there.
You must rescue the professor.
Well, you heard the woman. Now be careful here. This is a good place to get knocked off into a pit. Get hurt. Huh. Somebody just fell. going on here?
The White Queen welcomes you to die.
Oh, you guys are going to play that Welcome to Die nonsense too. Well, we are having a little bit of video trouble here. The ground was supposed to lower, and we were supposed to go into this kind of cave to fight the White Queen. The White Queen is a mutant psychic. And what is it? Emma Frost, I think is her real name? Part of the Hellfire Club, a group of sort of evil mutants. Alright, she was our mini-boss, and now we got all these bugs. Yeah, the game is not happy with us right now. There we go. Much better. No, process. I don't know if we can fall here if we go too far to the top of the screen, so we're going to try to be careful about that. Well, and there's one of those Sentinels you might be more familiar with. The giant Sentinels. Those guys I think are based on another group of enemies or villains from kind of Marauders? Reavers?
Juggernaut will flatten you.
Okay, now it's another boss fight time. We're taking on the Juggernaut. And someone has decided to give the Juggernaut a bazooka. Now, Juggernaut is not a mutant. He is Kane Marco. I think that's his name, Kane Marco. And he's Professor X's stepbrother. And he doesn't have mutant powers. He is the avatar of a... not a demon, what is he? He's on some sort of amazingly powerful mystical being called Sidorak. And Sidorak gives him the powers to be a human juggernaut, which essentially means he is immensely strong, durable, and just generally hard to stop. In fact, Sidorak is one of the mystic beings that Doctor Strange calls upon to grant him power. You might sometimes hear him say, by the crimson bands of Sidorak, or something like that, to keep his enemies incapacitated.
Colossus, Wolver Storm, Dazzler.
He's really just living up to his name. He was just running shot right through us.
Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler. Nice job.
Alright, there's the
Magneto
professor.
is over there. Follow me.
Oh, it was a trap.
Aha, you fell into our trap.
That was Mystique pretending to be. And did you see that? Did you see that? As everybody else was falling, Nightcrawler just teleported. Okay, this might be a little tough. Careful not to fall here. Anybody have any mutant powers left? Pyros. Lone Pyros. That's not the only time we're going to come across enemies like that. Okay, boss fight time. Well, will be as soon as we clear up these enemies. Now, this is one of those things that I'm not 100% certain on, but I think these enemies are supposed to be inspired by Apocalypse. Not that they are Apocalypse himself, but just that they're kind of based on his design. You kind of get that feeling with the kind of ancient Egyptian motif that's been going on here. I am being corrected. This is supposed to be the Living Pharaoh. I will be honest with you, I do not know who that's supposed to be.
Cyclone, Colossus, Wolf Storm, Night Dazzler.
Now the Living Monolith I do know about. They're telling me that that's who this is sort of based on.
X-Men. Magneto is planning to attack Earth from his asteroid base. You must foil his plan before it's too late. Go after the giant Sentinel.
Alright, now we're going after the Sentinel into space. And I think we're on Magneto's base, Asteroid M. Alright, just Kurt and Wolverine. That's alright, we'll get more X-Men in here soon. Real soon, probably. Before more enemies start showing up.
Dazzler. Cyclone, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Night Dazzler.
horses have come back to try to stop us.
Nothing moves the...
Alright, Blob is almost done.
Nothing!
Alright, everybody's flashing.
Nothing moves the... Nothing!
These guys. Okay, how's everybody doing? Not great.
Type Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Dazzler, Type Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Dazzler.
Great. The Juggernaut and Nimrod. Now, I don't know whose bright idea it was to give Juggernaut a bazooka, but they did it, and they made our life more difficult for it. And Magneto.
I am Magneto. You are nothing.
This was a bad idea. We should have took them out first before getting Magneto involved in this. Alright, good. Nimrod is done. Now we can take on the Master of Magnetism. Magneto is a mutant. He's actually one of the most powerful mutants there is. And depending on what time this was, his name was either Eric Magnus or Eric Leschner, something like that. He and Professor X were actually very close friends once upon a time.
Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Dazzler. Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Dazzler.
We almost got him. Come on. He's already flashing. Oh, it was a trick. It was Mystique again. Mystique being another type of mutant.
Alas, that was
Or rather,
Mystique,
another
not
mutant
Magneto.
altogether with shape-shifting
Magneto is at
powers.
another place.
Raven
Go,
Darkmoon, I think was her name. Now it's time to take on Magneto
I am
seriously.
Magneto, master of magnet.
That's more great.
I kill you.
More great English there. Master of Magnet. His shield is up. I don't know if we can hurt him while his shield is up. Or if we gotta break it.
Die! Come, X-Chicken! Come! Shield! Fight Colossal for Storm! Fight Dazzler! Dead!
I'm gonna try to keep everyone alive, in case for any reason having them active or not changes the ending. We're getting close, it's starting to flash.
Fight Colossal for Storm! Fight Dazzler!
That's right, just get him in the corner and hit him. Hit him over and over again until he stops moving.
You are not. Come. Storm, Wolverine, Colossus. I kill you, X-Chicken. Shield. X-Chicken. X-Men. Come dead. Shield. Dead.
Getting pretty aggressive now that he's so low on health. How's everybody doing on health? Well, turnabout is fair play. He's going to black us in the corner too. Got him. Magneto is defeated. X-Men succeed to rescue Professor and return to Earth with the victory, but still, the battle against the threats of the evil has just begun. The struggle of the X-Men will continue. Alright, so there you go. That was X-Men for the arcade. A very simple beat-em-up, but a lot of fun, especially when you have a nice big group of people together. Because this can be a 6-player game, possibly, if you find that cabinet. And you and 5 of your other buddies having fun beating your way through all these stages is a joy. It is an experience to have. And like I mentioned, this was my first introduction to a lot of these characters. Just like Captain America and the Avengers was my introduction to those characters as well. And it kind of started off a love affair with not just the characters generally, but even just the medium of comics. I really started to develop appreciation for after this. Although, as you saw, there were a lot of characters that I did not recognize. Alright, so that was X-Men. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.